Hi, I'm Emma Cowling, and I'm on a mission to help more women in tech become authentic leaders. Now, one of the things that I often find with clients that I work with is that they are feeling extremely busy and overwhelmed and aren't always completely sure how to let go of stuff and what to let go of against what to keep on doing and keep on pushing. Now, one of the things that I tend to do is work with them around their mission and what's important to them. And then what I'll do is work with them and help them to get an idea of where they are allocating their time right now. What is it that they are doing, and how is that kind of feeding through into what's important for them and what they enjoy as well. One of the tools that I find really useful in doing that is a time audit. So getting them to have a look over the period of a whole week. Where are they spending their time? 24/7, so every single hour of the day, throughout a whole week. Where are they spending their time and what tasks are they doing? So this video is to share that time audit and how I do that time audit with them. I've developed a spreadsheet as a kind of an overview, which helps you to collect that information. And given that it's a spreadsheet and it's kind of there and it's kind of adaptable, I thought I'd just pop on and do a video to share how that spreadsheet works so that I can share it with you and so you can go away and use it yourself. So let me take you into the spreadsheet and show you what it's all about. So this is the time audit spreadsheet, and the idea of this spreadsheet is to allow you to take what you do on a daily basis once you've kind of pulled out those tasks and start to categorize it into different areas so that you can take an overall look at how you're spending your time against different things that you might want to be doing in your life. So different categories in different areas. So I wanted to show this as a starting point, these graphs as a starting point, because this is what essentially it all comes down to and what it translates into. So first of all, we'll take a look at is this spreadsheet on the left as I'm looking at it, and the timesheet around what your breakdown for your life is. So here I've kind of suggested some categories that you might use. So how much of your time do you spend relaxing, at work, having fun and playing, sleeping is always interesting to see, and self-care. And there's other categories as well that you can use. I've allowed up to 12 categories to be used here. So this is the first thing that you might assess your activities on over that period of the week that you look at. And then I've gone to another level and said, well, as I spend so much time in the area of work, and this may be different for you, you might want to break down a different area, then what do I do during that time at work? So there may be some admin there may be some meetings, you may do some networking, and you may do some strategy. There may be some specific things relevant to your skills and whatever it is that you bring. And the idea is that this allows you to kind of say, well, you see that big lump over here, well, how does that break down and where am I using my time there? So there's two kind of strands to that. The other graph that I've pulled out and information that I'm collecting is the level of importance of things that you do. And this is your judgment about what's important, not anyone else's. So how important these things in your life. And here I'm also using the Eisenhower Matrix, which there'll be a link to below this video is an overview of that. And what the Eisenhower Matrix is all about. But basically that's looking at how important are the things that you're doing and how urgent are the things that you're doing. And that gives you a really good way of saying, am I getting drawn towards the urgent things rather than the important things? However, you could, instead of importance, just look at how enjoyable are these things that you're doing? How much do you enjoy them? Because that could give you really useful insight about your life as well. So that's what we're aiming for, is a picture of where are we spending our time over the period of a week. And it's useful to do this during a typical week for you rather than kind of one that's abnormal and probably doesn't give you so much of an insight. So doing it while you're on holiday probably isn't quite so useful. But again, it might be if you're looking at enjoyment or something like that. So when you open this spreadsheet up for the first time, you should come into this first tab. So there are 3 tabs along the bottom here. And this tab that we start with is this time audit start here. So this is where you're capturing the information and the data in the first place. And so what you'll see is that across the week, right the way through till Sunday, you have segments where you can capture what it is that you do on an hourly basis. And then, and this first column is just free text. So allows you to just kind of capture a note of what it is you're doing to whatever level of detail that you want, just so that you remember what it is. Now, of course, you may do more than one thing in an hour, and you may kind of have things starting at a half an hour basis, but it's really just, this is a level of granularity. I didn't really want to go much below this, otherwise it started getting quite complicated. So if you need to shift things around a bit, then please do. This is up to you. It's your spreadsheet to play with. But so the idea is that you can quickly sort of drop in here and add something about what you've done on an hourly basis into this email throughout the whole of your day. And then this is where the life category comes in. What is it that you were doing? How does that break down and categorize? So here we've got you were sleeping. Breakfast I've categorized as self-care, and maybe this is something where you might get up and have an enjoyable breakfast and give yourself the time and the space to just look after yourself there. But it might be a rushed thing, so you might categorize it as something else. It might be a necessity or something like that. And then these are the work activities. So you go to work and then come back, and then what do you do in the evening? Is it relaxation? Is it self-care? Is it exercise maybe? Now these are all, you see the little arrow here, these are all selected from a drop-down list, which I'll show you where they come from in a moment. But it's important to use this drop-down list because that's where the big picture, the graphs sort of come from. So if something doesn't appear on the drop-down list, don't edit it here, edit it in the next column, this categories tab instead. So we can do the same. Then if you decide to break down a particular category, so here I've decided to break down work. So again, I can choose from a set of things which I've predefined already. And then this is the way you can change and allocate the level of importance and urgency of the thing that you do. So this is how you fill it in. Now, what happens if you want to make changes to these categories, if these categories don't quite work for you? Well, what you can do is if you head to the second tab down here, the categories tab, you'll find that you can go in and make updates and make changes to the categories. And that then translates through to the categories you can select and then through to the graphs. So let's say, for example, within what you do in your life, you want to have an idea of how much time you spend being creative. So you can just add in creativity here as a category. And then if you head into your time audit, let's say that actually instead of TV, you did some painting and you wanted to allocate that, what you'll find is creativity has appeared in the drop-down list. So you can just pick that up and that appears here. And then what you'll find is that if you head into this, you can see, look, there's 1 hour of creativity that you spent in the period of the week or in the period of the day as it's captured at the moment. And then if you head into the graphs, you'll also see 1 hour, well, 4% of your time. So an hour of that week has been spent on creative stuff. So you can see how it all translates through. Now, so these categories are completely changeable. I've limited it to 12 just so that otherwise it can get quite complicated and you can end up going to an nth level of detail. So this is kind of a way to capture your top 12 categories for what you like to and what you want to be doing in your life. And then the same for the work breakdown or whatever you decide to call this here, whether it's work or something else. And you can break that down and change all of these as well. Similarly, for what we've captured here, the importance and versus urgency, instead of that, you could change this to enjoyment, and this could be a 5-point scale from always to never. So how much do you enjoy the work that you do? And then you can classify those according to that, and it will give you a picture of how much you enjoy, how much of your time you are spending enjoying things that you do. So that's the overview of the Time Audit Spreadsheet, which I hope you'll see is quite a useful tool to put together an overview and pull together an overview of where your time's going and give you an insight on and choice about how you then allocate that time. So it's all about creating information that then allows us to choose what we do with it. Now, what typically happens when I work with clients on this, especially when they're feeling busy or overwhelmed, is that a lot of the stuff that comes out that they're doing is either in the urgent category and maybe not so important, or they need to kind of take a look at, if everything feels important, they need to take a look at how do they prioritize that stuff and start delegating or negotiating with other people that are asking them to do these things so that they can let go of some of it. So that's the typical route that I would take with clients. But of course, there are all sorts of different things that come out. This is just information which will hopefully give you insight. Now, if you are interested at all in doing some of that work with me, so if you get to the point where you're looking at this and you're not sure where to go or how to let go of some of the stuff, then please do feel free to get in touch. I'm on emma@emmacowling.com, and I will happily kind of talk to you about how we can set up some coaching sessions for me to guide you through whatever comes out of that. Other than that, if you've got any comments and if you find this useful, then please let me know. I always like to have feedback. If it's not useful at all, that's also useful feedback to me too. And if you come across any bugs, please do let me know. I do update it and take this on board and kind of adapt and evolve it based on the comments that I get back. So hopefully you found this useful. And if you're interested in taking this any further, please get in touch.